Travis Wayne Goodsell. I realized that I had mistakenly watched Terminator 3 out of order when I should have watched Sarah Connor Chronicles first, and then the other miniseries before getting to part 3. And in the process of watching the wrong movie and out of chronological order, there was some things that led to my being inspired to do this video. Mormons claim the Book of Mormon is true. True is too general. Nonetheless, Mormons say it. True also presupposes a whole bunch of premises that lead to that conclusion. Mormons do not give them to us. Occasionally, if you ask them about it, they'll give you stuff like, well, I prayed and I got the right feeling. No. So, those who leave the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints or refuse to join conclude hastily as well. Book of Mormon is false. But there are many who do study on the Book of Mormon and do put in some of the premises that lead to their conclusion that it's false. But they don't include all of them. Both sides of you must include all evidence. The way you do that is by researching the Book of Mormon. So first, we need the gold plates. That first and foremost would confirm or refute the claim by Mormon apologists that the Book of Mormon is not gold, it's golden. You're creating a red herring to lead ex-foe nevermos down a rabbit hole when you make that claim. Because now what you're doing is you're going away from the non-existent gold plates to assume a whole bunch more stuff in order to conclude that it's golden, so that it's 50 pounds instead of 200 pounds. And then you think, well, yeah, it's easier to carry 50 pounds prancing through the forest than it is 200 pounds. And then that leads to more branch-offs when you have no core confirmed yet. You see this being done in the world. People who claim to be scientists make certain claims, but it's based on not having first confirmed their core claim. For example, the Big Bang Theory, created by a Catholic. Well, why? Well, he assumes that Genesis chapter 1 verse 1 is true. When God, or in the beginning, God created. And so branching out from that, you get the one Catholic who then creates the timeline of chronological order going all the way back to in the beginning, 4004 BC, not BCE. Again, a whole bunch of assumptions that are not laid out for us. just concludes. And we're supposed to believe them. You have to have all the evidence. You cannot have any fallacy argument. No lies. Only truth. And the truth will lead you to the conclusion. So, we don't have any plates, gold or golden. That must be eliminated from everyone's premise. So now what do we do? Well, we go to the English 1830 version of the Book of Mormon. Unless we can find the 1829. And we go from there. We have to study the Book of Mormon as English literature. We cannot jump to the conclusion that it is literal history. We have no plates. This is difficult for Mormons to accept because all of a sudden their conclusions are on shaky ground. You built it on sand. No duh. You need to build it on a rock. Truth. Evidence. Physical evidence. Not spiritual evidence, because there's no such thing. When you have a spiritual witness feeling, you're the only one who feels it. Nobody else can feel it. So is it your truth? No. Feelings are a result of believing in a version of reality. And for feelings about the Book of Mormon being true as a spiritual witness feeling is all based upon nothing. In life, we experience things in the flesh. Our minds then create a belief as to how to interpret what is going on. And then we feel accordingly. So Mormons, for example, come to this video, they see me and hear me, and they don't like what they hear because it doesn't conform and comply to their beliefs. And so they don't feel good about what I'm talking about. Does that make them true? Nope, it makes them false. Because they didn't do it right. The core must be correct. Or as the scriptures call it, the seed. Because the seed will only produce after its kind, the design. An apple seed does not produce oranges. It never will. You can run the tests as many times as you want. There will never be a mutation to produce oranges. You need an orange seed for that. So does this mean that ex-fo nevermos are true? That the Book of Mormon is false? No. Because they concluded there's no plates, therefore it's false. But some will argue that there's other instances that proves it's false, but that's the wrong meaning of false. Because the Book of Mormon is real. We can obtain a print copy for ourselves. We can go online, and church has the scriptures posted on their website. I've got a computer program from a CD-ROM on my computer for it. So yes, the Book of Mormon is true. It's real. The conclusion that it exists is easily demonstrated by presenting it for you, providing you with the website link for the church, or you already have it, or you can go to the bookstore and get it. Again, Amazon will sell it for you. They'll have a bunch of different languages for it. Isn't the church upwards of over 150 or 250 or something like that? So the Book of Mormon is real as existence. But people are not communicating properly to talk about what the Book of Mormon is. Instead, they're all arguing over what it isn't. Can't do that. What is the Book of Mormon is the answer that we need. So there have been people who have done linguistic analysis on the Book of Mormon, comparing it with documents from contemporaries in 1830 and other people from church history. Sidney Rigdon, Oliver Cowdery, Parley P. Pratt have all been tested. Not just the 1769 King James Version of the Bible. Translation errors and all. So yes, the Book of Mormon does plagiarize the Bible of the King James Version, 1769. Errors and all. Exvo Nevermos are correct on this. Mormons can't ignore this. Mormons can't dismiss it. Mormons can't deny it. People can obtain the 1769 King James Version of the Bible, just as those who ran the test, and confirm, yep, word for word, it's exactly the same. It is a false translation. So if Mormons are going to continue to insist that the Book of Mormon is literal history true, that it came from brass plates, and that somehow the correct translation of them is the incorrect translation of the King James Version of the Bible from 1769, we've got some other questions that need to be answered now. People are not living in reality when you claim that a falsehood is true. Mormons should have studied their Book of Mormon. We're told to study our Book of Mormon. But then we go on missions lately, and we're told not to study our Book of Mormon, but to get a feeling. And then we go and tell others, take them to Moroni, chapter 10. And we read it to them, and apparently we have no clue how to comprehend what we read. And hopefully the investigator also is illiterate. Just like you. So that the manifestation of the truth does not happen, only the spirit feeling happens. So yeah, over these 8 years and 8.9K videos, I've been going over with you guys of how the Book of Mormon is true, but not concluding with that. Lately, this year, most of my videos are over an hour because it's cram time. And because of YouTube's attacks on me, I have to get as much information repeated as possible, just in case somebody new comes along and wonders what the hell's going on. Because if I were to just say, the Book of Mormon is true, and then read a passage from the Book of Mormon, and go, wow, that is so true. There's Mormons that do that. I remember finding a female who, her channel videos were just reading the Book of Mormon in preparation for last year's Book of Mormon lessons. That's it. She wouldn't explain them, wouldn't go beyond, just read, and that was it. You gotta dig, you gotta study. So, in the Book of Mormon, 1 Nephi, chapter 14. Talks about a book written that came out of the mouth of a Jew in 23. The things which were written were plain and pure and most precious, and easy to the understanding of all men. And behold, the things which the apostle of the Lamb shall write are many things which thou hast seen and beheld. The remainder shalt thou see. Well, that's Nephi's vision of the tree of life. So you have already read it, so now you're getting to this part, and so you know that what he is seeing in the vision is now to be applied to this apostle of the Lamb and his book. And also others who have been, to them hath he shown all things, and they have written them, and they are sealed up to come forth in their purity, according to the truth which is in the Lamb, in the own due time of the Lord, unto the house of Israel. So we can assume that those books don't exist. We're still waiting for them. Many of the things which this apostle of the Lamb shall write, let's see, write them, okay. 27. And I, Nephi, heard and bear record that the name of the apostle of the Lamb was John, according to the word of the angel. Where was the part where it says that it's of the latter days? End of the world. Gotta go back up, don't I? Oh, yeah, 22. Oops. And he shall also write concerning the end of the world. So is it John's gospel? Not much on the end of the world in that. There's the book of Revelation, which is credited to a guy named John, a Jew named John. But you'd have to do the check rather than just jumping to conclusions. So there are many things that do tie in as you read the whole Book of Mormon. So one of those that I've been going over with you is lately, because ever since 2016 into 2017, I've been going over with you Revelation chapter 12. And then as we neared April 2024, I then put a lot of emphasis on Revelation chapter 19. All of this is because the Book of Mormon told me to study a book by John. And sure enough, I confirmed it is the book of Revelation. So, chapter 16 is what I've been going over for Armageddon. Why would I do that? Because this great and abominable church in the Book of Mormon is led by the false prophet. Verse 13. And that false prophet goes forth unto the kings of the earth and of the whole world to gather them to battle of the great day of God Almighty. And he gathereth them together into a place called in the Hebrew tongue Armageddon. So when are the latter days? Kind of need to know, don't we? Does the Book of Mormon tell us? Yes. By golly gee willikers, yes. And this is what everybody is in denial of. Because if I did a video and read, yea, I make a record in the language of my father, which consists of the learning of the Jews and the language of the Egyptians. And that was it. I ended it. Have picture of Nephi, putting the quote for the thumbnail picture. When I get a lot more views than I normally do. Probably. Because people can interpret it however they want. And on TikTok and other social media sites, especially YouTube, now that they've got shorts, people do this. Both sides will do this. Mormons will put out something faith promoting, Expo Never Mows doubt promoting. Joseph Smith was a polygamist. And those who've already falsely, hastily concluded that Joseph is a polygamist will go and put the thumbs up. Yeah, so true. Mormons will go, ooh, false, but true. You're both wrong. Evidence. There is no evidence tying Joseph Smith to polygamy. In fact, the evidence says he didn't practice it, especially Brigham Young's Little Black Book from January 1846 in the Nauvoo Temple, undedicated, in which he and Heber sealed women to Joseph Smith. The same women that the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints claims that Joseph Smith was sealed to in 1843, 3 years earlier, to justify Section 132 being true by Joseph. Oops. Studying the Book of Mormon is crucial. And it's horrifying to me that here we are at the end. That everybody is waiting for in their own personal belief system. And nobody knows the true interpretation to see what is actually going on in the big picture. To be the only one who knows and is trying all different kinds of ways to get people's attention, despite the attacks by the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, trying to prevent me from letting this be known to you. Fortunately, if the latest hitmen succeed, you won't have to worry about it. You'll be dead.